Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In today's video, I wanted to talk about bulbs. I got all my fall bulbs in and I wanted to go over how I was actually going to be handling these. I'm in zone 7B and somewhere in zone 7 is where we have to start pre-chilling bulbs. We get about every fourth winter, so we just kind of don't have winter. And tulips don't respond very well to that, especially tulips, but even crocus and hyacinths need some cold treatment here as well. So I'm actually going to take my tulip bulbs, which I have quite a few of, my crocus and my hyacinth bulbs, and I'm going to put those in the bottom of my refrigerator for 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks before I put those in the ground. So it'll be about the 1st of December before I'm putting those in the ground. I'm going to do a lot of bulbs in containers for the winter, and so that's going to be an entirely separate video from planting them in my annual bed over here. I'm not going to pre-chill those because even though I'm in zone 7, when I put them in a container, I'm losing a couple zones. If something is above the ground and the pot's liable to freeze, then I'm really in zone 5, maybe zone 6 on my container bulbs, so they'll get plenty of pre-chilling in the container. So I'm just going to treat it as if I'm in zone 6, put them in at the time that I would plant bulbs in zone 6, and that'll be my tulips and crocus and my hyacinths. I have a lot of daffodils. Daffodils don't need as much pre-treatment, so I'm just not worried about those. I'll put those in when it's the appropriate time to plant in my area. The appropriate time to plant in your area, you can use a soil thermometer, and when the soil temperature reaches 55 degrees or lower, just go down about 4-5 inches down with the soil thermometer. If the soil temperature is 55 degrees, it's time to plant in your area. It's been quite warm in my area. My soil temperature is still around 65. It's going to be a while in zone 7 before it's really time to be putting spring blooming bulbs in the ground. If you're in zone 5, just as a general rule of thumb, it's September, October. If you're in zone 6, it's October, November. And if you're in 7, it's November and December. Zone 8, probably sometime in December would be best. If you're in zone 9 and 10, it's just not a great place to grow tulips because as soon as you take them out of your chilling and put them in the ground, they're going to try to come up pretty quickly because of the soil temperature really never gets cold enough, but you can certainly do daffodils and the other ones. But you may be able to do the tulips like I'm going to show you in containers above the ground because your container will be more exposed to the cold. I'm going to be using black nursery pots for planting my bulbs in containers. I use those because they're kind of designed to be flexible, and if the pot freezes kind of solid, it won't crack my decorative pot. So I'll use some 3-gallon black regular nursery pots, and then when they start to emerge in the spring, I'll actually slide them into a decorative container that fits that container properly. I'll show you all that in a separate video in a few weeks. What I wanted to do today was just tell you, tulips are here in zone 7 where I'm at. I'm not going to put them in until December 1st. They're going to sit in the refrigerator until then. Same thing with my crocus. I'm going to do the same thing with those. They don't need as much pre-chilling as the tulips do. It's just easier to just consider them similar and do them together, and that gives me some assurance that they're definitely going to end up with enough cold on them. Same thing with my hyacinth bulbs. I had hyacinths here for years, and they do okay, but that first winter we get where it just doesn't get cold enough to pre-chill them, they just decline over time that way, so I am going to chill those as well. The daffodils, like I say, I'm just going to put those in the ground as soon as the soil temperature is 55 or below. Another thing you could use instead of a soil thermometer will be after your peak foliage color has passed. That would be a good time to put them in as well. Or after you've had a hard frost or an early freeze, but the ground isn't frozen solid, that'd be another indicator that you could go ahead and put your bulbs in the ground. Usually it's about mid-November in 7B where I'm at before we really get that kind of cold, and then anytime after that I can go ahead and put them in the ground. But like I say, the hyacinths, tulips, and crocus will be pre-chilled at that point. So what I'm going to do with these, like I say, is I'm going to take about half out that are going in containers. I'm going to put them in a mesh bag like this, put them in a really dark space. The others that are going in the ground are going into the bottom of my refrigerator. Daffodils don't matter, just put those in a dark space until it's your time to put them in the ground. Like I say, if you're in zone 5, you need to be getting them in the ground sooner than later, and you don't have to do any of this pre-chilling nonsense that I have to do here. Same thing in zone 6. You could probably go ahead and start considering putting them in the ground. If you're in zone 6B, you may want to wait a couple more weeks from when this video comes out. But anyway, I have hundreds of bulbs that I'm going to be using in different ways over the next month and a half. So thank you for watching the video, and if it was helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for future videos.